Hey everybody, we on? Hey everybody, welcome into Thirsty Therapy. That's right, we're doing our New Year's Eve special tonight. John,
Oh,
how are
look at
you?
that. Hey, oop. Yeah, hey, man. Happy New Year's Eve. Gosh,
Happy New Year's Eve. Thanks for your help
beautiful
getting
day in
all
the
that.
neighborhood.
That's right, Mr. McFeely. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. That's right. It's we got John McFeely and Billy Rogers here. We're mimicking our Mr. Rogers, and thanks to a friend on Instagram reminding me of my living embodiment of Mr. Rogers, we thought we'd own it and go full on tonight. Thanks to John suggesting that we just.
The, the Mr. Rogers of bartending.
That's.
I can't wait for bars to be open again. I don't know what your plans are going back to work, but I would love for you to welcome everybody to your neighborhood.
Thank you, sir. I can't wait. Actually, that's all. That's all I ever wanted to do is welcome people back into the neighborhood and build up that community. I'm glad that we can do it here from a distance right now, safely and still have somewhat semblance of community with everybody on there. Oh, I can't see chat. Do you mind helping me out, Bree? I forgot all about that. Um, but yeah, it's amazing that everybody's encouraged us to even put on a New Year's Eve show tonight. We weren't even going to do a stream tonight.
Yeah. So
It's kind of fun. Thanks for all of you suggesting that for us. John and I have been putting together some fun things, I think. Yeah, what is that? Where's that rockin' music coming from? Oh, it's from Twitch. Don't be sorry. Things just happen. Bree's trying to lock everything down for us on the between all of our streams and our chats, so that we can follow along just as much as John and I love to be able to talk to everybody. John, who's already joined us? Who's in so far?
well, welcome back to Trekking Lady, Tarts, Kinderlift. Thank you all for showing up.
No, you're totally good.
John, while we're waiting,
Bree's having a hard time getting that over. Do you think you could jump on and do your amazing thing and see if we could separate out that chat, John? Before we get started?
Say that again?
Do you think that you could jump on? Bree's having a hard time getting the chat to break away. Could you jump on and break that chat off so that she could slide it over onto our other monitor? I don't know if you can do that from where you are. Thanks, man. That way I can see it right under your beautiful mug and I can chat with everybody and see you at the same time.
While I do that, can you figure out if there's a drink called a Mr. Rogers?
Oh my God, really? I wish I had a phone on me.
We have that question.
All right, let's see if there a drink called the Mr. Rogers Brie. Can you look it up on the Oracle? I mean on Google, and see. There's the Roy Rogers, which is a Shirley Temple in reverse with Coca-Cola instead of 7-Up.
There is.
Oh, there is. Bree says there is. What's in it?
Gin, royal rose, cardamom, clove, simple syrup, fernet orange juice.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Orange juice. Oh, it's called the Cardigan Cocktail. All inspired by Mr. Rogers. Bree's gonna put the put it up in our chat. Can you drag it over for me?
That's Margarita, good. Welcome back.
Nice.
Looks like
welcome back.
We have some debate about caffeine versus decaf.
Oh, John, we had a great conversation about that yesterday. Right? We had you found a tried and true from our local Heart coffee roasters,
Yeah, shout out to Hart.
right? We love their coffee.
Normally, I think decaf kind of tastes like dirt,
you,
but I picked up this.
Perfect.
They do it very well.
They do it fantastic. Yeah, I actually had it last night when we were doing another test round for Bree and I, before we decided to make that video that we put out on Instagram for everybody to enjoy. It helped. We had our very boozy Moroccan coffee with that delicious decaf, and it got us through. We were still able to go to bed at a relatively decent hour.
Was that you tickling the keys in that video? The Mr. Rogers theme?
That was absolutely not me tickling the keys. That was a fantastic YouTube tutorial on how to teach you. It was a beginner's how to teach you how to play, and I don't know what kind of beginner that was for, but it was amazing. It was, yeah. To me, that was not beginner technique at all, but it sounded really good, and it was fun to pretend.
Okay, so you feeling ready to get caffeinated or decaf, as your taste may be?
Yeah, I am ready to get that started. And I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. I know a lot of you are pre-gaming. That's why some of us are doing caffeine. Some of us are not. Thanks for being here with us. John and I were going to go on with you for the next couple hours, but we know that this is going to be your start to a fantastic evening to say bye to 2020. We're going to send it on its merry way and hope for the best. Right?
Let's send it off.
Let's send it off. All right. Well, let's get started. We're going to do our Moroccan coffee. And John,
Moroccan
you
coffee,
and I have
is this a classic cocktail? Is this based on anything?
This is based on a Spanish coffee. And as you and I have researched over the last couple weeks, it is much less known than some of my past guests have stated it. A lot of times, anybody who's asked me has rolled out the ingredients for me on their spec, their own specs to it, and I've been happy to make it. But when John and I looked it up, there is not a lot of formal, true formal specs for this cocktail. So we combined the flavors that we thought got us to the amalgamation that was Moroccan coffee, right? All those different spices and flavors kind of meeting together in a new place. Yeah. And how do you feel, John? We tested it.
Oh, it was,
all right.
So
how?
Great.
Good. We definitely had a lot of fun, and this one is strong, really strong. It's a hell of a start to the beginning of your night. But I love the complexity of flavor. It's nice and bold. What we're gonna do in true Spanish coffee form is we are gonna start off with a sugar rim that we're gonna caramelize. We're gonna make a fun fire, John, with 151. I know you're excited about that.
You know, I haven't made too many flaming drinks, and I don't want to burn down my apartment, so fingers crossed, yeah?
We'll try and be as safe as we can. The way we're going to do a sugar rim is we're going to start off with some lemon wedges. I like cutting mine into eighths. It lets you control them a little bit better. These ones are split down the middle, so we can rub them right along the rim of the glass.
Give it a little squeeze.
And yeah, give it just a little bit of a squeeze as you're turning it around the glass, and make sure you grab any seeds that kind of fall in there like I just did. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our sugar and we're going to want to pat our glass on our rim on the top of that sugar, but we're not going to plunge it in. And you're just going to continue patting it just a little bit. You can move it a little side to side, just a smidge. If you're going to do that, make sure it's in a circular motion. But that padding is going to build up the right kind of rim for you to have. Like that, as John does it. Nice, John. And I put my glass up there for everybody to see. When you pat it like that, you get a nice wide band. We don't need it going too deep. It caramelizes really unevenly when you do that. Well done, sir. How's it looking?
Very
Very
better than in
nice.
practice. Better than in practice.
Right?
Yeah.
It really
How many
does.
Spanish coffees have you made? Or Moroccan
I've made
coffees?
quite a few more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've had
So this is new to me.
a lot more practice. No, I totally get it. I'm gonna do one more too for the girls. And remember, you're giving it that little squeeze because you want that juice to fall down. That's a little bit lower on the glass. As you're tipping it upside down, you want that juice. Sorry, friends. Here, we'll show everybody on the spinning camera. Bree, you want to switch us over? We're just doing a little pat just like this. And as we do, we're shaking down some of the lemon that's a little bit higher now that we tipped it over. And it's also building the weight around, it's building their sugar, let's see here, to the outside of your glass rather than just lining it up here. Kind of gets a nice, ooh, look at that big old chunk. That one's going to fall off for sure when we light these on fire.
Oh, we're going to light this on fire?
Oh, yeah. I knew that's what you were so excited about. You do have your fire extinguisher ready, right?
Well, while we're talking about it, yeah, so we're going to light 151 rum on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It will produce a pretty high flame. I have a leather coaster. That's my fire extinguisher that I will place on the glass in case of emergency.
That's right. You got a sink right there, right?
Yeah.
If all else fails. Yeah. You're good. Do you want to go get the fire extinguisher? I'll wait.
This is gonna be the best Twitch ever.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Imagine how many more people will want to tune in if they see a big fire us make a huge flame. So yeah. John's holding up Hamilton 151. John is my go-to for suggestions when it comes to great rums, and he suggested this for this very rich, bold cocktail. Of course, you've experienced so much more than I have when it comes to rum. So I love that you always are willing to share that with me. And this is a Demerara, so using really, really rich molasses. And it's also, it's Caribbean, so it's got a little bit more funk and a little bit more depth to the whole thing. So we're going to start off with 1.5 ounces of this one. And so I'd say for a Spanish coffee, normally they're only going to be 1 ounce. We're fortifying it. But we're also, it also has to do with the shape of our glasses that John and I have that we're using. We got a few different things going on that we want to make sure that flame gets high enough to caramelize that crystallized sugar. And now it's going to give it a great flavor too because we got that lemon underneath. So 1.5 ounces of that 151. And now's the time, John, where we get to light it.
I didn't realize I got to get some coffee going, but shoot.
Well,
I don't want that flame on your end. Here, let me get this going. No. I want us to light up at the same time because it's lighting a fuse. Like we gotta get this cocktail moving once we light it on fire, right?
It's like a bomb. We gotta go. We only got a little bit of time to move. Yep.
Okay.
So get that coffee. Yeah, we'll take the time. Everybody's there with us. So yeah, everybody, know what you're doing if you're going to try something like this at home. Have a little bit of experience. If you never have, try it on your patio or your barbecue, just to make sure, just to be safe. Why not? John and I can't be responsible for anybody's New Year's Eve catastrophe.
Don't try this at home,
man. Right? Don't try this at home. Kinderliff, it's great to see you again. Thank you for joining us as always. We're happy to always have you. Hope you're enjoying the friends as well. We got we always want to thank you for our fantastic donation of our display table here. We love the spin. It's so therapeutic. John, how long does the French press normally go for? Like 2 minutes?
4 minutes. Before I press it
awesome.
Down. And if it hangs out there a little bit longer, gets a little bit stronger, you know what? I'm I'm okay with that.
Awesome. Well, then that means we could totally get started and build the rest then, right?
Yeah.
While that's steeping. Awesome. All right. Well, go ahead and drop your 151 in. Did you already get it in each glass?
Yep.
Cool. Let's light it on fire. This is my kid's favorite part. Oh, and that's right, John. We got. It's not just you and me tonight. You have a friend. I have the kids here. I have Bree, as always, being our operator, and my mother-in-law is here. Everybody's supporting us and hanging out for New Year's. How are those flames going? Looking good. Nice. Well done, sir.
Now,
so we're just going to let that keep going.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I think you're going to say
No,
it.
please. Nope. You've had these where?
I've had the Spanish coffee invented here in Portland at Huber's Cafe, and they do a little dance. They're constantly rotating the glasses, but we don't have to do that here.
We don't have to do that here. They are professionals that have a lot of extra practice. And as you stated before, it's a new technique already for you to move around the fire. I don't know how many other folks have made a lot of Spanish coffees and such out there. You can do that, and that is a practice technique. I've watched them pour it from 3 feet high as well, and it looks amazing. But the way we've coated our glasses and the technique that we're going to use, we're going to get enough heat to caramelize that sugar on top. It might not be as perfect and as pretty as theirs is, but it's going to be something approachable that we're all worthy of here within our own homes that we're building, right? And you are worthy of good drinks, and that's why we're bringing them to you. So, John, while this is flaming, let's get started with some aromatics. And I'm going to start with cinnamon, and then I'm going to go to nutmeg, and we're going to flame those right over the top. And this is always my favorite. I know Huber's has some ground stuff, I think, sometimes, and they give it a double shake right over the top. This is the messiest part for your bar, but it looks the coolest. And you can already smell the aromatics coming up. What do you think, Zoe? Is it cool? Yeah? All right. So I got microplaned everything on there. Next up, we want to add to those aromatics, John. So let's do our orange liqueur as soon as you're done, and I'll wait for you.
Oh, that flame, though.
Right? It's definitely why it makes a mess. And I'm already starting to get a little bit of caramelization. So I'm going to speed up.
Okay.
And I'm going to go on to my orange liqueur. And as everybody sees, we're going to add it to the flame, and it's going to jump that flame right up to the top of that rim and help that caramelization process go even better. Cool. So well that I snapped one of my glasses. John, we practiced how many times and that didn't happen, but I got a backup glass, so good thing. Look at, just like we talked about. Whoop, double trouble. Oh, and here, let's put that bad boy out with, snuff it out, just like that. Well, I will tell you, this has happened to me a bunch of times at a bar before. Can you see it, John, from there?
Sorry, what happened? The glass cracked?
Yeah, my glass shattered, one of them. So I'm going to move on for this one. That means our glasses are getting pretty hot.
Shoot.
We're going to go Chinar next. And that is an artichoke liqueur that gives it an amazing, rich depth. And then we need an ounce of Turkish coffee liqueur. And I'm using Vivacity Turkish coffee liqueur from my one of my favorite distilleries in Corvallis. Whoop, I missed. All-female distillery in Corvallis, Oregon here. This Turkish coffee liqueur has cinnamon and cardamom in it. And now my caramelization is right where I want it to be. I'm starting to get drips. I'm going to use my knife to put my other flame out. John, if yours are hitting that point too, please don't let them go too far, because again, our glass is going to retain so much heat, which is why that one cracked. But this one's going to hold it, and as we add the other ingredients, you'll even hear them bubble and sizzle some.
Yeah, mine are still sizzling.
Right?
Even though the flame is out, yeah.
Even though that flame's already gone. So I need to get a little bit of cardamom bitters in here.
Yes.
And we're gonna do 2 dashes of this cardamom bitters. John and I are both using Scrappy's today. out of Seattle. One of my favorites for cardamom, especially. I really appreciate Scrappy's bitters because they isolate certain flavors really, really well, and just give a pretty true, unique, or not unique, a pretty true flavor to each one of the botanicals without having too many other flavors in there. Because you know, John, I love making my own anyway. But when I can't do it as well as they do, hey, I bow down. Just like Portland Bitter Project, you and I have talked about their pitch dark cacao bitters. I still love this. I haven't even come close to making one like that. So hey, why even do that? I'd love supporting another local place. Okay, so what do we got next, John? We got orange liqueur. We have our Turkish coffee liqueur. We have our Chinar that's already in there, and we have our cardamom bitters, right?
Yeah.
Are your flames out?
Flames are out. Coffee?
Coffee. Let's get some coffee on there. We're going to do 3 ounces of coffee. And hot coffee is preferred, especially because look at what it does to a glass normally, what a little bit of warm alcohol can do to a glass, let alone some cold coffee. If you are worried about it too, I like holding my jigger like this on the bottom base and not touching the band.
Right.
Then that way you can actually measure out. You can get a couple done this way without burning your hand. And look at John, that pour is bringing us right up to the top of our caramel. Looking good. How is it on your end? Sounds like it's going well.
Sizzling.
Yeah! I gotta get a quick cleanup here while you're doing that. I went crazy with that nutmeg.
All right, so Barback's mistake is I used both sides of the two-sided jigger. Of course, one side was already very hot from previously using it. So
you know what?
learned.
And John, I should have said that too. That's exactly so. The other thing that we've talked about before, and I just went straight to it, so I apologize, anybody out there. I love it's so easy to not hit a meniscus and hit your line when it's on the inside of your jiggers. So doing 2 1.5 ounce pours gets us to the 3 ounces of coffee, fresh coffee that we wanted to add to this cocktail, without necessarily trying to stabilize the 2 ounces, flip it over, and get 1 more ounce on it. John, that's perfect.
Look, I'm feeling good about it.
Good.
But it's missing something.
It is.
Do we need to stir these ingredients together?
Let's give it a little stir, and then we're going to set that spoon aside, and we are going to make some whipped cream, some fresh whipping cream for this.
Yeah.
And actually, if you have your towel, go ahead and give your bar spoon a quick wipe down so that we can use it for our powdered sugar. And I think I already heard John do it. I am grabbing my blender ball right now because John and I are going to do some whipped cream and might as well use all the help we can get to get a little bit of aeration in that in a whip. One of these whip balls is a great cheat. Saves your arms from becoming noodles, especially on a big night like tonight. We're making more drinks, right? John and I need all the help we can get.
So how much? Go ahead.
I was going to say
per drink.
John, let's do, I'd say roughly about 2 ounces, maybe 3 ounces of whipping cream per drink because you're going to have a bunch stick to the walls. And you ran out a little bit earlier, so I'd go a little bit higher. For yours, you're going to go about an inch above maybe 2 inches above your blender ball. I forgot you have the smaller blender ball. I'm using one of the bigger ones today. I now only have one. And then we need powdered sugar. Thanks, Pikachu. Always holding it down for us.
I was wondering what was in there today.
Always have a new friend in there, welcoming or protecting whatever goods they're hiding that day. John, we don't need too much sugar. I'm going to do a little bit, like a small rounded spoon, bar spoon full of powdered sugar. Now we're putting powdered sugar in to help create a little bit of density within the cream
Sorry.
as we whip it.
Yeah.
Excuse you, sir. I'm just kidding.
Got this powdered sugar here.
Margarita knows, don't get any ideas out there. So we got our powdered sugar in here. John, you remember, like we were talking earlier, we're using powdered sugar because it dissolves the fastest, but also it has cornstarch as a anti-caking agent built into it. So we're going to utilize that cornstarch as well to give us a little bit more viscosity on this. And as we whip things to make whipped cream, they need a little bit of that inside of them. So we got our blender ball in. We're gonna slam our cans together. You ready, sir? Oh, and remember.
Yeah, how long are we doing this for?
About 30 seconds. Shouldn't be too long. We want it to be able to drip in. It'd be ideal to make it thick enough that we spoon it in as it's dripping a little bit, but we don't want it to be too thick, butter-like or heavy whipping cream-like. Or
Okay.
You know what I mean. Whipping cream that's going on top of your sundae. We don't want it that dense. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. And you can hear it already changing. You hear it, John?
The blender ball getting fainter and fainter.
Yeah. It's bouncing off the sides, softer and softer. I think I'd go another 10 seconds. Right where I need to be. Check yours. I bet it's there.
You can tell just by the sound, can't you?
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, a little bit longer. I can just visually.
You want to
we were at during our rehearsal.
And I'm hoping that I can get this blender ball out and give a nice. So I'm going to pull my blender ball out then and put it in the other side with the least amount in there. And I want it to kind of slide into the top all sexy like. Look at that. Let gravity do its thing and the heat. And the reason that we didn't want too much sugar in this is because we don't need it. We got enough sweetness in our cocktail, right, John?
That's right.
Amongst other
Especially
things.
this Turkish coffee liqueur. I've had, a lot of coffee liqueurs are pretty sweet. We got the sweetness from several ingredients.
Yeah, many. How's it coming out?
Good.
Nice.
Good. Good. Hold on, I'll hold it up in a sec.
You know it, Kinderlist. Hey, we'll get you we'll get you your taste the any way you can. Alcohol, non-alcohol, we're smuggling flavors all the way to you. Oh yeah, way to go, Tart. I'm glad. Yeah, it's an easier. It's a lot cleaner, really. You just rinse the whole thing out, and it gives you a good arm workout, if nothing else. Ooh, my cream's dripping down the sides. You know what? We got to make room for this tasty-looking cocktail here on the presentation table. Ooh.
Okay, and then
all right.
we garnishing this further?
Let's put a little bit of cinnamon on top, just for a smell, just for a little aromatic, just to finish us off. Okay. I'm gonna get that started over here. And we already added a good amount of cinnamon and nutmeg to it. This is just to make it a little bit pretty, make those peaks stand out. Oh, here. Watch out, it's hot. Grab the bottom.
All right. All right, tell me, do you think that's finished?
Oh, hell yeah, that's finished. Everybody, take a look at John's. See how awesome that caramelization is right around his rim. And like we talked about before, you can still see a little bit of the crystallized sugar on one side, and that's okay, it happens. The more comfortable you get, the more you'll be willing to do stuff. Please keep in mind what we just, that can always happen, having a cracked glass. So you're also introducing more of a risk of that as you're twisting and heating the entire sides of it. But as you can see, it's always hard to tell. Some days it could be the coffee. If the coffee's not hot enough, that cracks the glass. Some days it's an alcohol. Some days it's John has his leather coaster to stop the flame, because some days you could put a metal or a plate over the top, and that is cold enough to make your glass shatter just that way. So everybody be careful out there when you're experimenting, and know that that can happen. Make sure you're still using safe glassware that is meant for hot, meant for like hot coffee and things like that, so that way most of the time they are tempered so that they won't explode. They'll just crack like that, but maintain their shape. I am Alex. That is Kirby. Hell yeah. Well done. I'm Alex. All right. So John, what do you think? You ready to taste this?
Oh, yeah. To making it to midnight.
To making it to midnight. This is going to help everybody get there for sure.
Cheers. I get to have a whole mustache here.
Cheers, sir. We both do. I even have one in my promotion pictures, I realized, after we sent them out.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It is very good.
I like it. It's bold. It's strong. You want that amount of whipping cream on the top of it, because, and even though it seems like a lot, we want a good amount so that every sip we get, it gives us a little bit of mustache, but we also, it creates a balance with the strong, bold flavors that we have below. Remember, we have a lot of spices going on. We have cardamom in there, cardamom bitters. We also have cardamom in the Turkish coffee liqueur. So I think it goes really well, but as you sip, that cream is going to head down and help you finish off your drink and help it dilute, and gets a little bit easier every time. Yeah, we're going to get drunk, huh? For sure. There's no two ways around that.
You, me, everybody else tonight? I mean, not everybody, but I know a lot of people are saying goodbye to 2020.
Yeah, we have to, right? We got to send it off in the best way possible. We're going to try and be the most positive with our 2020 send-off, because it's been one of the least positive years in a while.
Oh, this is delicious, and I feel like the volume is already. I'm drinking. Long-winded way of saying I'm drinking this too fast.
Right. It's easy to do, though, right?
I know it's strong, but it's so delicious. But it's strong.
Yeah, I think we did well with this one. I'm happy with all the flavors. I like that as strong as it is, we get a layer of flavors as you sip it. Not only from the beginning all the way to the end. I feel like I get coffee and orange at the beginning, and then by the end I'm exhaling cardamom and the chinar. I'm getting a lot that artichoke. I love the bitterness of the artichoke liqueur in there. Or actually, the chinar 70. So I guess technically it's not a liqueur after that, but it's a liquor. It's stronger than the regular chinar, which is only 24%.
Hmm.
This is supposed to be.
Would that substitute in this drink? It would just be less strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be a little sweeter and a little less strong. So this has a higher alcohol content to keep it fortified, so it doesn't need to have as much sugar. So it does create the much more bold flavor, and that's kind of what they were going for, is the intensity that you didn't need to use as much.
Yeah, I don't think this needs to be sweeter.
God, no.
So, all right, I like this Chinar 70 idea. One thing that stood out to me earlier as the cream kind of mixed in, maybe I hope it'll happen again. cream kind of acted like the way ice does in a more traditional chilled cocktail, whereas diluting but also opening up the flavors. And I began to taste more of the cardamom on the finish, cardamom bitters, the cardamom in our particular coffee. I'm kind of looking forward to that again.
Yeah, me too. And it is, and you're right. That's why you're adding so much. I know some people would be like, "Oh, I don't want that much whipped cream," but there really is intention when we're creating them. It's as a bartender or mixologist, I have to consider, just as I would as being a cook, I have to consider how everything's going to taste from beginning to end, not just the first 2 bites. So if something cools down, and that's the other part, as it cools, remember, coffee bitters. So as it's cooling, you're also having that cream dilute it a lot more too. And again, by the end, John, it was a lot more cream to finish it off than anything else. Like the cream to the coffee to the liqueur ratios almost invert. I like that part too. So
yeah.
I'm Alex. I have to. I want to tell you, I've worked in a bunch of different bars that do coffee-based drinks. Some of them may only have just coffee brewed in-house that we end up using. Other places will have espresso machines. Almost every bar that has espresso machines makes some sort of espresso-based cocktails. But it also is. It's only limited by the bartender's experience that's working behind that bar. So just because they have one, don't fault the bartender for not having a good coffee cocktail on hand. But if they've gotten a chance to experiment or ever worked in a place that does, they'll know at least an Irish coffee or something to that effect. And as we talked about with the Moroccan coffee, before I ever tried to read about it, I had guests ask me for it at restaurants where I made Spanish coffees or Irish coffees. And they just told me the specs that they wanted. So if this is something that sounds good to you, write down those specs, remember what we have posted on here, and take it to a local bar that has a espresso machine and ask them if they're willing to make this for you. Don't demand it, but ask them. If they have a cool bartender and wants to try something new, they'll give it a shot, provided they have all the wild ingredients we're using. But John, isn't that always the case? So let's see. Tartart said, "What's the ABV for flaming drinks? Is there a way to calculate that or compare it to regular cocktails?" There is. There are mathematical ways of calculating that. There are also guesstimation ways of calculating that. A Spanish coffee, for example, where you are traditionally using only 1 ounce of 151 as your high alcohol content, but you're also starting to burn just like we did where it is. So some of that alcohol is burning off, not the majority of it, but some. And you are then only putting in you're putting smaller amounts of liqueurs in, which are roughly about 20%, 24% ABV. No one's using, I have never seen Chinar 70 in another coffee cocktail otherwise. So you usually have, for a Spanish coffee, orange liqueur and a little bit of coffee liqueur, and then the coffee. And between liqueurs wise, we're starting with a 151, which is that really high double proof essentially, but we're only using 1 ounce. So that would technically round down to being in one full cocktail, that would be the equivalent of 2 ounces of an 80 proof, right? Or even a little bit less. It's 151 and not 160. So you've got that going for you, and you're only adding a little bit. So you're roughly, between the dilution rate, you're roughly just a little bit stronger, or right at a strong cocktail. But then remember too that your body absorbs it differently because you're adding caffeine to it, and if you're adding caffeinated coffee, but you're also adding heat to it. So your body's going to absorb that alcohol. It's going to hit you a lot harder, even if it's not that much stronger in alcohol content. John, does that make sense?
Well, to our audience, does that make sense?
That's true. Thank you, sir.
I mean, I'm all good.
I felt like I was rambling there for a minute, and you were waiting patiently. I figured I had to. Well, what do you guys think? Does that make Tartarts? Does that make sense?
let's science the S out of this.
Right.
Sorry, are there kids watching?
That's okay. Even if there are. My kids are around, but they can't actually hear it. They're just intrigued by how much the camera shakes when they walk by.
by your one-way call.
Right, exactly. By like, why is Daddy yelling at a camera right now? He says John's there, but I'm not sure. I think he's just crazy. But it tastes 20 times better. Cappuccino con grappa. I got to try that, Kinderlift. That sounds awesome. Nice. You're very welcome, Tart Tarts. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad Margarita knows that you're loving that orange liqueur. I really feel like it adds that extra depth of flavor. John, with he's got a little bit drier, sharper. I've got a little bit more rich and roundy because mine's a cognac base or a brandy base. Are you happy with yours, sir?
Oh, very.
It's almost gone.
I even did like a not like a flaming drink, but just a coffee. Just pour it into my mug, add shots into it, and call it good. And the orange is key.
Yeah, it really does stand out. I feel like it's a flavor we want in coffee that we don't always realize unless we start like nerding out on the flavor profiles of different coffees. I know you and I are those types of folks, John, but I know not everybody out there is. But it really does complement all the rest of the flavors that are kind of built into, especially caramely coffees. You want some of this? Better not take the whole thing for myself. Well, I would have taken the whole thing for myself, but we shattered that other glass, and I just feel greedy now having Bree watch me finish this cocktail.
You know, for your technical explanations to follow, you might want to pass that drink on.
Right. Touche, sir. Touche. One more sip, though. It's so damn good.
Okay. You know what?
It warms me like it's like a heart hugging my sweat. I mean, a sweater hugging my heart right now. It's just too yummy. Yeah, I want to try that cappuccino con grappa as well. If anybody finds it, you have to let us know one way or another if you can. All right, I'll give it up. Here you go for you and your mom to share. While I pass that over, I'm going to wipe down my area just because my OCD can't stand it.
That's so bizarre. I have a bottle of grappa right here.
So is that what
I was experimenting with this.
Is that what...
No, nothing. No. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
No. What I was saying was, John, is that all the cappuccino con grappa was cappuccino with grappa, or is it a special liqueur in itself?
Good question. Who asked that? Kinderlift? Care to? Okay, here we go.
Elaborate for us.
Carnival.
Ooh, okay. The bartender
insisted on Kinderlift having this drink.
I'm intrigued. Just want to go to Carnival too. I won't lie. It sounds fantastic. Do you mind shaking that off and handing it to me? Yeah, that towel on the right there, black one. Ooh. So is Emily enjoying her Moroccan coffee as well?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Having a lovely little New Year's Eve here.
Almost gone. Look at that, both of you. Well done. Yeah, it's out in the garage. John, we're gonna. I know
we got the delayed thumbs up on that one.
Right. Did you? Wait.
7-second delay. 7-second broadcast delay.
Right. I was gonna say we don't even need to wait for everybody to finish their cocktails right now. In fact, because we could move on, and I could work on. We could do our family-friendly version for tonight, and we could work on the mocktails while. What do you think? I forgot. You're gonna make the mocktails with me though, aren't you?
Yeah, we should move along to that before we cannot make them. There are, other thirsty people in our viewers' households and in your household.
That's right. I got some chomping at the bit. They'll go Lord of the Flies if I don't do something soon.
Let's go.
They know something.
NA bubbly goodness.
NA bubbly goodness. That's right. So we have some fun things that we're going to work with. Perfect. I'm going to start off with thank you so much, Bree. Martinelli's. Do you mind grabbing my slide for me too? Forgot these are pop tops. So we got Martinelli's today. Sparkling apple cider. Oh my goodness. I want to wipe down our circular spinner. Because we're going to put our other drinks up there too. Or our other goodies that we're using. So, sorry, Yoshi, Kirby, you can have your spot back. So we're going to do Martinelli's sparkling apple cider. Might be in the dish drink. Perfect. That'll work. Gonna do a lemon because we need some lemon juice to balance out this mocktail. Thank you. Lovely hand work. Nice job.
Oh no, Billy, did I need to squeeze lemon before this stream?
No, John, you do not. We're gonna do the fun cheat. I love you. Well done, sir. So we're going to do a technique that I hope is easier for everybody out there, and it is, it's a technique I've used in bars where they don't utilize fresh squeezed juice, but it's really important for me to have fresh squeezed flavor into people's cocktails. So rather than juice a bunch of juice that the owners didn't want or waste things like that, I started doing a squeeze and drop technique, and it's kind of a twist on a Regal shake, but we can use eighths and get the right amount of juice that we need, John, and then it's easy for everybody to do out there. No one needs to take the time to juice too much and have anything left over. And you're also getting that extra oil from the peel in a Regal shake style. So I really, really enjoy that. The pith is nice too, because it's just making these flavors a little more bold as we shake up the bases of these cocktails or mocktails when we use bubbly. It's great to make them nice and bold because the bubbly is a dilution, just like our heavy whipping cream in that last Moroccan coffee. So while it has its own flavor, it's still diluting the bolder flavors that you're putting in there. So you gotta build accordingly, right? So we're gonna do lemon, we're gonna do, like we talked about, we're gonna do the Martinelli's, and we're gonna do hibiscus syrup, and then we're gonna do honey syrup to balance all that out.
Honey syrup.
And John, we're doing your 3-to-1 honey syrup dilution. The extra rich honey syrup.
Time, right? Yeah. Okay. Move the coffee out of the way. We don't need that.
So like we were talking about,
cream.
We're gonna shake up all these flavors too and make that really like nice, bold, rich base. We would do that for our French 75 later. We're gonna add that into the shake as well, but this being a mocktail, we won't need it. But we're gonna shake that up and chill it down before we add the sparkling cider to the top of it. And to make it the most fun for my kids, I got these cool fancy coupes. So we're gonna move that back. Actually, we're gonna slide that over. Fun fancy coupes for them. That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna have you help. You are absolutely right. But you know what? Why don't you slide in, head on over. Nope, Zoe, this way, please. I'm gonna have you walk right in and go right next to the ice and that chair, okay? So everybody, this is Zoe. She's my awesome helper. Oh, and you're gonna come on this side, Tate. And Tate's gonna help too. Can I scoot you over just a smidge? Whoop, there we go. How's that? Nice and safe. Cool. Okay. All right, so John, what we're gonna do is, like always, we're gonna pretend like, come on in, buddy. Here, I'm gonna scoot you just a little bit forward. Everybody, this is Tate.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, Tate.
All right. The tiniest bar space ever. It's very, very tiny. But it's super fun. Oh, hey, Tate, will you do me a favor? you want to go over to my cart over there and go grab, there's a bunch of teeny tiny clothespins in a bin right there. Grab the whole bin and bring it over to us. Nope. Mom will help you. John, you can grab, while Tate's doing that, you can grab your garnishes that we're going to use today. We're going to do our fun. Zoe, I'm going to have you put this in your hair. Yep, just like this. Like, oh, look at that, everybody.
Hair garnish.
Hair garnish. Just kidding. This one's going to be mine to eat for later. But this happens to be these really cool apples that we found here in town. Here, everybody can see. We put that up right here for everybody to look at. These apples are red flesh apples with green peel on them. Hey, everybody's saying hi, kids. Thanks for showing everybody. Hi. That's right. We're doing these great mocktails, everybody. Kinderliff, I'm hoping you're loving this. Take some notes. Those kids of yours, you're going to want to give them some mocktails, too.
I am Alex. Yes, you did spell my name.
Nice.
Oh. I don't know if anybody heard that, but we got a practice streamer voice right there.
Right. Oh, he's getting ready. He's going to have a debut. He definitely wants to do it with his video gaming. I know it.
He streams video games and you don't know it. He's
right.
Top 10 Twitch superstar.
Don't take any more out right now, Zoe. I want you to just hold them up for me. Good job. Here. I'm going to have you hold this entire bin. And Tate, I'm going to have you scoot this back over. Here, actually, we'll hand that to Bree. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do is, should we make 2 of these at once for both of you? I'm going to tell everybody how we're going to do it, though, okay? As if we're going to make a single, we'll show you. So what we're going to start off with is a hibiscus syrup, because not only is it pretty and beautiful, but it's going to add a fun taste. We're going to leave these right back there. Good guessing, though. I appreciate you, too. You're trying.
I thought we were going to make it with you.
Oh, no, you guys are going to be here with me, and I'm going to have you help as we go, so don't worry. So let's do 1.5 ounces of hibiscus syrup. Now, this is a really rich, strong hibiscus tea with just 80% sugar added to it. So it isn't a 1-to-1 ratio. It's still just under that. It doesn't need to have too much because, again, we're adding the honey syrup to the whole thing to add a great viscosity and minerality to this cocktail and make it taste even more bold, like the great flavors of true rich cocktails without the booze, right?
Apologies, we don't have the exact numbers on the screen. We don't have the exact specs. So call it out again. 1.5 ounces hibiscus syrup.
We're doing 1.5 ounces hibiscus syrup. That's right. And I forgot, I'm doubling these up right now.
Thank you, Kinderliff, for the compliment on my sweater. I really like it.
It does say a lot about you. I agree with that.
He really likes playing Mario.
Just video.
Billy, can you repeat those comments on your end?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thanks, John. I'm sorry about that. Somebody, Kinderliff was saying
We just barely heard him.
There's a sweet 8-bit. Oh, that's right. They can't hear Tate.
Wait, they can't?
No, not as well. So
just barely.
They can just barely hear you. Tate was saying thank you so much for the 8-bit comment, Kinderliff. He loves Mario. Zoe was saying how much he loves playing all Mario games, and I was saying how versed he is in the classics. The retro gaming convention is the highlight of the year for Tate, or one of the highlights of the year, right? All right, so next up, we're going to go 3/4 ounce of honey syrup for this cocktail, all right, or this mocktail. So Tate, I'm going to have you help with that, and I'm going to have you pour this honey syrup right to that line right there. Go ahead and hold your hand on the base. Go ahead, just to the line, not all the way to the top. Slower. There you go. Perfect. All right, so I had him fill up 1.5 ounces because we're doubling this cocktail, but it's only going to be this mocktail, but it's only going to be 3/4 ounce of honey syrup for each one. And now we are going to do about 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. However, we talked about doing our trick, right? So our trick is going to be this. It's going to be the squeeze and drop technique. And it's kind of like my idea on muddling, where I don't feel like we have to muddle too many things out there. It's extra work. I do have fantastic muddlers. My father-in-law built me one. My grandfather used to love having a collection of them. And they're fun to use, but not always efficient or necessary. So this is going to work just as well because we're going to smash it. We're going to shake it up with the ice. So we're going to do a squeeze and drop. So you want to do a squeeze and drop on one of these? Squeeze and drop.
Using one wedge per drink?
Well, we're not actually, John, because so here's the way we did it. We cut these. If you are out there, everybody out there, cut these into eighths. You're going to get about 1/4 of an ounce of juice out of each one. So for 3/4 of an ounce, technically you're going to use 3/8 slices of lemon for each one of these. John, if you're just going to make one, you could do 2 or 3. The trick is too, you're getting a bolder flavor because you do have the pith and the peel in there. But I think we're going to love having those great bold flavors. So for everybody out there, again, we're doing hibiscus syrup, 1.5 ounces. We're doing 3/4 of an ounce of honey syrup, and we're either doing 3 lemon wedges or 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Thank you, love. That one we don't need just yet. We're gonna leave that right there. That was the last one. I'm so sorry. I should have had you squeeze one more in. You like the tart flavor though, don't you? You know what? Let's throw that last one in. Will you squeeze and drop it for me? Well, it will only make this even better flavor.
Wow, that smells really lemony. Lemony, yeah.
Tate says it smells really lemony out there, and I agree. It's got a great lemony flavor, and we got all those lemon oils on our hands right now too. Yeah? Smell them on your hands, Zoe?
What?
That's sour, Tate.
Sorry, I hate to be the broken record. 3/8 of a lemon per drink.
Yes, that's right. No beer broken record. If I'm not making, if you needed it, John, then somebody else out there definitely needed it again. I think it's perfect when we do that. So that's everything we need to put into our cocktail portion of it, or the syrup and juice portion of our mocktail, right? And I need some ice though. You see all that ice over there? I'm gonna bring this over where the coffee is, and I was gonna hope that you could fill me all the way to the top with some scoops of ice. There you go, bang away. Here, can I help? Hold on. There you go. Ooh. So he's gonna load us all the way to the brim with ice.
I'm going to be loud while I get my ice. Apologies for the noise.
All right, that's perfect. Way to go, right to the top. Okay, now will you go back to holding that for me? I need one more thing. Sweet boy, can you give me just a little scoop? That's okay, I know it's very exciting, huh? It's awesome having you all here, too.
That is a lot of ice.
It's a lot of ice, but remember, we're doing 2 mocktails in 1 glass. So I would normally fill it almost all that high just for 1 cocktail or mocktail. So for this one, totally need that much ice. And I need the other top of our shaker. So we have, well, let's save it. So we have our glasses ready to go, or all they're ready to get poured into. We only need one thing. Can you shake? You can shake in just a second, but first I got to get the seal going, and then I'll be able to hand it over to you. I think that'll be great while I open the bottle of cider. How's that sound?
How about we take turns doing the shake?
That sounds great, but I got to get it started. So here's where we go. Ready? So that way we get a nice vacuum seal on this whole thing. We're going to get a nice heavy shake, but we have 2 cocktails, so it needs double the time. So I'm only going to do half, and then I'll let these 2 do the rest. Okay, take over, hold it tight, good work. I'm gonna grab that Martinelli's while Zoe's working. John, you already got your Martinelli's open, don't you? Perfect, I'm glad I got help. Here you go, Tate. Now tip it to the side. It's gotta be flat like this, and back and forth. There you go. Yeah, it gets so cold on your hands, doesn't it? Do you know what that tells me? That tells me when the cocktail is ready, or the mocktail is ready. Because a certain amount of coldness gets all around the outside. There you go.
I'm gonna need like
Pop.
bands.
Good work. One more time. I know, right? That's why Daddy... Whoa! That's why Daddy can't feel anything in his fingertips anymore. Too many shaking. That's what that towel's for. You got it. Wipe everything down. Here you go. Can you help me out? Because you know how I like having my area clean. Thanks, Tate. I'm going to give my couple more shakes. All right.
Be sure to bottom.
Good work. That's perfect. Go ahead. Wipe bottom. Perfect. We'll set that down. Oh, we'll get that in a second. That's the best part. Tate, give me a quick hit right here on the side. One more. Harder. There. Look at that. He cracked it right open, everybody. Good work. You did it, though. So John and I are also double straining everything. So that brings back why we're able to use these, the lemon wedges. Look at him there. Looks like a red soup almost, huh? Yeah, in just a second. Just wait for right now. Because you're going to be able to enjoy your mocktail here in just a second. Look at that great bold color. And you know what? I'm not even sure if anybody can see it. So let's pull it back. Pardon my elbows. My good friends. I'm so glad you guys got to join me. Nice, bright. My favorite part, John, is it's going to have some depth and tannins from the hibiscus. It's kind of, I love, somebody teased me years ago about microdosing my kids with strange flavors like, oh, not done yet, sir. As I'll tell you, when you're at a bar, you never touch the drink until the bartender hands it to you, or you might not pull back a hand. Oh, you never know. Just kidding. So, but as I was saying, everybody teased me about giving my kids little hidden flavors here and there that they might not know, like fish sauce or hibiscus or habanero that we like sliding into things. And this is one of those. So now we got to top the whole thing with our Martinelli's sparkling apple cider.
Look at about that, how much, or is it?
We're gonna go
taste or what?
It's to taste, but remember we have such a bold flavor here. We're just gonna go right to the top, and I'd say no less than 3 or 4 ounces. And I'm gonna be about at 4 ounces for both of these cocktails or mocktails. Man, I gotta keep catching myself. Sounds like I'm gonna do something wrong here. Okay, so would you please, Zoe, would you please pull out actually 2, yeah, there you go, 2 clothespins. And Tate, would you please pull out 2 of the most flour-like apple slices. So these are, again, I'm nerding out on all this dehydration, John. And we're not going to put them inside. Just go ahead and hand them to Dad as soon as you pick out the 2 you want to do. Love it. Great choice. Okay. And you got those 2. Okay, so we're going to do 2 things. First, I'm going to let you both put on each one of yours, okay? But first, I'm going to pinch that on. I'm going to hand it to you. Hold on to that one, because I don't want my fingers getting it wet. There's yours, okay? And what you're going to do when we're ready is you're going to, let me show you real quick. You're going to put it onto the outside of your glass and pinch it right there, okay? So it's going to be a pretty apple flower for our apple drinks. But hold on just a second. We're not done yet. John's getting ready. We got to do peels, right, John?
Oh my goodness, so exciting.
Right? So John's going to do...
What's next? What's next?
John's going to do a fun technique. I'm going to use a channel peeler. What? No, you can't. Because I don't want you cutting your finger online while we're streaming right here. That would suck. Daddy has a lot of practice doing this, and Daddy still cuts himself sometimes. So here's how it's going to work. So John's going to get as long of a curl as he can to make a nice fun ribbon. And then I'm going to do one with a channel peeler to get a nice fun ribbon as well. John, you ready? You want to show them what we talked about, or should we do it together?
Thank you for briefing me beforehand. You know, I'm just working with this thing, but you got the fancy twist going on, so let's focus on you.
Okay. Again, everybody take a look real quick. John's going to do his peel from one. Whoa, I caught it. Whew. He's going to do a diagonal peel to get as long as he can across. And then he's going to twist it. What he's going to end up doing is making almost like a straw, twisting that, and then dropping it in the drink. We're going to do something similar for the for our French 75. So hang in there if you feel like you don't get it just yet. But the idea is that as soon as you drop it in your drink, it's going to shock it into place and keep a nice, beautiful curl for your whole cocktail. Now, as I do my channel peeler over these two mocktails, I'm making sure that I'm spraying the tops with the lemon oil as much as I can for each one of them, right? And I am as well going in this great, strange diagonal technique, and then I'll follow along one by one to continue that. Now, as I do, I have almost a flat or rounded piece. So I'm going to do kind of like what I was just talking about John doing. We're making a little straw by twisting it up. Do you see that, Zoe? See that, Tate? And do you remember how it was just straight, right? And if I let go of it, kind of holds its shape a little bit. It does. Ooh, I like that. Now this one looks like it's got the most oil in it. So I'm going to drop it in this one. I'm going to do a straw and a stretch. Drop it in. And look at that. It holds its shape that whole time. So now I want you, Zoe, to go ahead and place your apple slice like we talked about on that edge. And then I want you to turn it around so everybody in the camera can see it. And actually here, do me a favor. Do you see that right there? I want you to put it right there. Turn it around. There you go. Drop it down a little lower. Perfect. Nice. Now Tate, let's get you your lemon, because we want you are worthy of good drinks too, right, sir? Even if it's not a good job, Zoe. Even if it's not an alcoholic one, we want everybody to have a nice tasty drink. And here, we'll get that twist back in there. Drop it down.
Now for me, I'm cleaning mine up. I didn't have the channel peeler, so I've got a very thick and kind of uneven peel.
But you know what? No one's going to know, right,
trimming the
John?
edges to make it like a what'd you say, a parallelogram?
Exactly, like a parallelogram. And nobody's going to know it because you're going to trim up those edges and it's going to be beautiful. Okay, Tate, you got your spring in there as well. Go ahead and get that on the edge of your glass. Good job. And then we're going to turn them around. Our NA deliciousness right here.
Was that the Final Fantasy fanfare?
Yeah, that is. You can be as loud as you want. They can't hear you. Loud. Let's hear it. Woohoo! So everybody's ready. All right, you two, give it a sip. Tell everybody what you think. Yeah?
It tastes like strawberry lemonade.
Yeah, it does kind of taste like strawberry lemonade, but with like more like sugar, like with full-blown kind of like powdered sugar in it.
With a little bit of powdered sugar in it. Lemonade with powdered sugar in it we got over here. Can I have a taste?
I like these tasting notes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As we were talking about scotch earlier and Band-Aids, right?
Lemonade is a big step up from Band-Aids, yes.
Right.
Really good.
We got a really good from Zoe. Tate said a little bit more like raspberry lemonade than strawberry lemonade as second taste.
Happy New Year, you guys.
Go ahead, buddy, a little louder.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, you guys.
Happy New Year!
Hope everybody got that out there. John, I know you heard it. Awesome, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, John's got that big coupe too, just like you two. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's way better than just plain Martinelli's. This is a treat.
Yeah, please share some with Mom. Tate, you can absolutely drink the whole thing. Thanks, John. I feel like it would be an easy thing for somebody to add this to do the same thing for champagne and be just as happy. It would obviously dry out the rest of those flavors, but I really appreciate that it is that we're taking this sparkling apple cider and we're adding more apple into it with the garnish. Oh shit!
Oh shoot! I didn't use my flour. Oh my gosh!
Fuck.
You just pinned that on the side. Can I see that again?
Yeah. Hold on just a second.
Is it already consumed? Did everybody eat their flour?
Nope, nobody.
Does it make me throw fireballs?
It would make Bowser for sure throw fireballs. Hold on just a second, John. We lost power on our side. How are you doing? Are you still seeing us okay?
Oh yeah. You're talking about the battery on the computer?
No, actually, we knocked an entire breaker out, it looked like. I had to flip it back on.
How is that?
Huh.
This is exciting.
Yeah. Get out of the way real quick, though, buddy.
Not in the Moroccan coffee set your house on fire exciting, but
no,
exciting.
Not quite in the Moroccan coffee set your house on fire, but in the entire everything else went down. But I'm glad that the cameras are still up there. I can't see our stream and I can't see you. And that's probably the saddest thing, because that's what that's the best part of everything we're doing is bringing each other together, right?
Hey, can you show me the?
You're getting power now.
Wait. Sorry, you're handling the situation.
Why don't you switch it to John on the main view, and then he can talk to everybody while we do this. Perfect.
So does anybody know any clean New Year's Eve jokes?
I love it, sir. Well done.
Anybody?
We got any winners, John? Anybody picking anything up?
I'm gonna have to start throwing out jokes. You don't want that, so I'm still waiting.
Perfect, and I'm back up too. I had the GFI blow there. So sorry about that.
Kinderlift is asking, what? You sure those were mocktails? Are you getting some sort of buzz off of this? I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, purely coincidental. It's our power setup tonight to make sure that we had the coolest, fanciest version of our display table that you were kind enough to give us, Kinderlift. We wanted to plug it in a new and improved way, but that also puts a plug right behind me here. So with all the new bar backs in one small spot, it was a maneuvering situation that happened. But thank you all for staying in there with us, hanging in there. And look we even got our party going. Yoshi and Kirby are happy again. What were we talking about apples right before that happened, John?
Oh, I totally missed the flour, the apple, dehydrated apple flour garnish. What do I do with this?
So
I've got this beautiful drink. I thought the peel was amazing, but there's more.
Well, the peel's there,
game.
Right? The peel's there for flavor, and I figured I had these beautiful apples that already looked like they were dipped in hibiscus, and in this beautiful and hibiscus flowers are so gorgeous to me. I thought, why not add this to the side? So you have a couple of clothespins as well. You can just clothespin it right to the edge. It's just there for beauty. You can eat it. It's 100% organic, and it's only been topped with a little bit of citric acid to help the colors maintain while we do the dehydration process. Especially when we do it a little bit warmer, so we get these cool curls. This fun effect.
On the outside of the glass, yeah, or into the liquid, or
I do it on the outside of the glass, and it tastes delicious.
Okay.
It can go into the liquid, but at that point, it's just going to get a little bit soupy. I think it's charming just on the edge right here. If that showed up at my table, I'd be happy. Mm-hmm. And we got a snack, if nothing else, if you get hungry halfway through your cocktail or mocktail, whichever you choose. They are really good.
Oh yeah, and in addition to, don't try setting your drinks on fire at home.
Right.
Please make sure you are eating while performing any of this as well.
Right. Have a steady round of food, especially. John and I make sure we power eat before this whole thing starts. Hey Zoe, don't go over there, okay? There's no reason. So
speaking of,
please.
Well, just before we get to the thematic drink finale of the night. Speaking of having something to eat with your drink, Thirsty Therapy was victorious. We got cocktails to go legalized here in Oregon.
Oh my gosh. Thank God we did it.
I'm just kidding. It was a much bigger effort by
oh my God, yeah.
by actual industry folk and I mean the effort they put in and timing it with an actual legislative session that could actually make the change to our amendment. I'm not totally sure, to our state's constitution. So yay.
Yeah, right. And it's a temporary one. It is set to expire 60 days after the stay-at-home order is lifted, or not the stay-at-home order, but the state of emergency, I think is what they're calling it, after that is lifted. But it has been extended several times, so we don't know that it's necessarily actually up in January, up in March when they're thinking it is. So that's a huge win for everybody. As John, you and I know, we've got a couple of our favorite bars up in Seattle. We know it's not necessarily going to save everyone or save anyone, but it's certainly going to help everybody really add to their revenue stream, their creativity. Remember, a lot of these places started as pop-up bars because you loved their creation so much. So it's hard to fathom them existing or really making it without having those cocktail sales and mocktail sales, especially. They're doing that kind of game out there too. It's hard to imagine them existing without being able to continue those. Bree, do you think you could do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you touch that light for me real quick? It still didn't turn on. Oh, do I? Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I would. It all kind of came together this week, but I think I will be supporting these bars that had a difficult time making business. I will definitely go hit them up now that they can operate.
Right, hell yeah! You got to get food. It has to be paired with food. But please go out there and do that. We even said, John, we said that before. Please grab some to-go cocktails from our local places and bring them to Thirsty Therapy to join us. We would love that. Rookie mistake, not eating before drinking. Well said, Margarita knows. We're gonna hope.
All right.
Oh, sorry, John. Please.
No, finish.
I was gonna say we're gonna hope to learn from our mistakes as we go, even if we are full adults and forget here from time to time. Oh my God!
All right,
and I'm loving
that local news. Looks like we got we finally got some jokes and some New Year's resolutions.
Right, I was just reading that New Year's resolution stuff, which it kind of was a joke at the beginning of it too. In 1 year, out the other. I don't know if you saw that a little bit earlier, but yeah, there's a problem with New Year's resolutions is they're always in 1 year and out the other. I thought it was clever. Didn't need it to be the best joke. I mean, you've known me to do how many weird dad jokes.
Mrs. Claus, I've already got subtitles on my TV. I don't know what's going on with my hearing, or are TV shows speaking faster?
Our whole family does subtitles on all of our broadcasts as well, TV and movies. Part of it is a hearing thing, but we started doing it years ago when we had a friend who had English as a second language and always liked having him up to make sure that he was seeing the same thing he thought he was interpreting.
Yeah, that supplements. Yeah, that helps. I think that helps acquire the language. Yeah,
and we all got stuck on it. We got home. We were like, we need those where are those subtitles? We were only staying at their house for a week.
Wait a second, this is better for everyone.
Right? You can't ever, they closed captions always have it. They never have any of the bad words up there either. The kids are up. You should pretend like you didn't hear it. Wait, what? All right, I'm going to do a quick rinse.
Okay.
I'll be right back so we can get started. What do you think about the next one?
Yeah, on to the champagne cocktail.
Right? There are a few, but none of them come even close to this one.
French 75, the classic.
Classic French 75. We're going to do a build really similar to what we did on the last one. Here, I'll trade you. Can I hand you that? All right. And believe it or not, we're going to leave that honey there because John, you and I always talk about trying to utilize the same ingredients and not waste ingredients.
Yeah. So a classic French 75 would use gin, lemon, simple syrup,
right?
Topped with champagne. Appropriate for New Year's. We got some champagne or sparkling wine. But you're saying honey syrup tonight.
Let's do honey syrup. Well, not only do we have that natural sweetener that we talk about, because we all can make simple syrup out there. No one's being stopped from that, I feel like. And feel free if you'd rather have that. But I like the viscosity, the naturalness of honey, and the light minerality and richness that it's going to bring to this. It's just going to add a little bit of another layer, which I appreciate. Everybody who knows me knows I love bold flavors. So I'm going with a little bit more of a bold gin to complement that as well. I'm going with Vivacity Native Gin. I know we already talked about Vivacity for their coffee liqueur, but this all-female distillery out of Corvallis makes one of the most botanical gins. It got me out of my gin funk, in fact, years ago. This was a gin funk that I was shook out of 8 years ago, thank goodness. But I think there was a good 3 years where I wasn't 2 or 3 years where I wasn't making any drinks with gin. I wasn't creating any drinks with gin because Beefeater and Tanqueray just kind of burnt me out with their London Dry. I wasn't as appreciative, and you know what? I was a lot younger, John, so my palate wasn't as expressive. I feel like at that age either. I'm taking all the labels off. I'm going gnarly. Which is too annoying. So as we always do with champagne, we're going to go 6 full twists. And keep your thumb on your champagne cap so it doesn't shoot off. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And there you are. And it's standard across all champagnes and sparkling wines. The other trick is, did you know that?
I did not know this, and I totally jumped the gun.
Oh, it's okay. But it's kind of
bad bar back.
It's kind of fun though, right? That there's always 6. That's a standard across the board. The other thing is that a lot of people want to get the cage off and go straight for the cork. Now it's super fun if you're shooting your cork out and make sure that you're not taking anybody's eye out, like Ralphie, shoot your eye out. But the cage is actually meant to help you catch that. So the idea is that you're then holding on to that entire cage as you're twisting. And as little pop as you can get is what your goal is. It's definitely less climactic, but a lot cleaner and more professional that way. I think Saber's fun and nice once in a while too, but let's just get the bottle open without any broken glass in my drink. How about that?
That would have been the ultimate show, right? Flaming cocktail, setting houses on fire, electricity going out, and sabering a champagne bottle.
We bring it in true form, right, sir?
That would next year.
We got time for that. Do you mind handing me that cutting board that I had you take away when Tate was over? I actually, because we used all of those lemon wedges, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do lemon eighths for this cocktail as well, because again, we're double straining, so we got all the work taken out for us, so we don't necessarily need to juice these. And John, did you get a good flavor from the mocktail on the lemon? I don't think it was overpowering, right?
No, I was happy with that, and I'm curious to see how. So you could use freshly squeezed lemon juice at home.
You could,
like the classic cocktail recipe says, but I'm curious to try the squeeze drop regal shake of the lemon this time.
Perfect.
So tell me how many slices of lemon do we need per drink?
For this particular one, we're gonna go for 3 slices, because I think that's what we're doing for this. We're going 3/4 of an ounce of lemon. And now, John, what gin are you using today?
Oh, I mean, I've got a few options, but I was thinking of just Beefeater.
Awesome. That'll totally work.
Classic.
It's not as botanical for a fun night like tonight. Now, it is classic, and if you want to stick with it. If not, or if anybody out there feels like they want to just step up the flavor profile, if you have any bitters out there, a nice fruit bitters would be great in this. I wouldn't suggest anything with chocolate or nuts, anything like that, but let's see. John, that elderflower bitters that I don't know if I ever shared with you, that would be really good. Another great one would be, I know I shared a lavender black pepper with you. That kind of gives you just one more depth of flavor.
Yeah, lavender black pepper.
So I love that flavor combination because they're so calming. So it's a perfect drink for, again, we don't want anybody to go to sleep soon, but it's nighttime. We've already had a little bit of coffee. Lavender and black pepper are both calming agents as far as botanicals go. So I love utilizing them in drinks, but also what a great bitters to have that just effectiveness on your spirit. Yeah, kind of nerding out, right? But I think I'm going to get there because Vivacity has all those native botanicals in there, and it has a lot.
So if you're using a more botanical gin, stick with that. Otherwise, maybe add some bitters to this drink, even though the recipe doesn't normally call for it.
Yeah. And you know what, John, that brings up another point too. There are Fee Brothers bitters out there that you and I both have used in the past and sometimes use. I have a rhubarb bitters here that could go really well in it. However, keep in mind that we're going to need to adjust you will need to adjust the amount of honey syrup or simple syrup that you're then going to put into your French 75, because this is a glycerin base, as all Fee Brothers are, and they're definitely adding a sweetness that can be clawing once you get too much of it in there. So I got a few drinks because I'm making it for everybody. I got one for myself, or one for Bree, one for Bree's mom. I got one more for myself here. Yeah, of course mine's a little bit bigger. It's always how it ends up working, right?
Let me look for those bitters.
Okay. John's going to look for the bitters. I'm going to cut up the rest of the lemon because everybody knows I'm going to need it, right, for all these tasty drinks. And I'm going to get started with my squeeze and drop technique for the first one. Ooh, John, you just did a perfect thing. I think we should tell all of our guests, everybody out there who's with us about, and that is how you tasted your bitters. Everybody see how John's trying his bitters right now?
I just wanted to make sure the bottle's unlabeled. I think these are the lavender peppercorns. Yeah, it's got a spicy bite.
Yeah. That little purple bottle?
So I dropped a little bit. Yeah. So I dropped a little bit on my hand and licked it off. And that gave me the full flavor as opposed to dropping it directly in my mouth, right?
Exactly. So John, if everybody can see too, he put it right here. I put just a drop of Angostura. This is my Ango art. But he put it right there. The idea is that when you're licking it off of that surface of your hand, you're spreading it out all the way across all the parts of your tongue. So John knew he could taste everything that was there. If he dropped it right in the back of his throat or right in the middle of his tongue, he wouldn't taste half of the botanicals that he needs to in there. To know if it's even could be oxidized. It might not be the right bitters that he wants. So that's the best way to do it. Everybody keep that in mind. Really is a great way. So I'm going to go three lemon wedges, and I'm going to do the squeeze and drop technique. So again, Just squeezing them right in the middle, all the juice going down, dropping it in, and as we shake it, we're going to pulverize the rest of the pulp in there. Get all the rest of those juices out.
Did we get honey syrup in there? Did you get that?
Not yet. I jumped the gun. I didn't even put the gin in yet, but you know me, I always like putting that in right at the end.
Cheap ingredients first.
Exactly. John, well done, sir. Your bar back training is really coming along.
No, that was the the question I answered last time. I don't get repeat level ups from that.
Touche, sir. Touche. All right, so we're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of honey syrup, and we're doing John's ratio of 3 to 1 for that. But again, it's a little bit thicker, so let's give it a second to drip right out. Make sure we get as much as we can because it's still coating the inside.
Mm. Some of it rinse out if we use the same jigger and put in some gin.
I think that's the best way to do it too, and that'll get the rest of the honey right into your shaker. So we're gonna go 1.5 ounces of gin on this one. Because again, we have our champagne or our cava or sparkling wine. Not really gonna need too much more booze than that. Especially like Margarita knows, like we were talking about with our guests earlier about having like liquor equivalents, John. This is already stepping up your alcohol expression a little bit closer to 2.5 ounces of booze in a cocktail. So that's why, again, why we're just doing 1.5 ounces of our 80 proof spirit to go with the brute. Sorry, I cut you off. Please, sir.
Oh, I was just going to say we are done adding stuff to the tin. We are not going to add sparkling to the tin as we did with the previous drink.
Right. We never want to add sparkling anything to our tins before we shake. We always get our shake taken care of, and then we will add. You can either add sparkling directly to your tin itself, especially if you have something a little more thick and viscous. That you can't get to release from the can, then it's a great portion to put it in. This one, we're going to double strain so we can see the volume, and then we're going to add roughly about 3 or 4 ounces of brut or prosecco or cava to the top of that. So let's get started with that. John, you ready? Let's do a shake. Gonna grab some ice.
I'm going to scoop some ice.
Okay.
On the noise.
Now, like we talked about earlier, everybody, while John's scooping that, I'm going to show you right here. Again, we only have 1 cocktail now. We don't necessarily need to make it all the way to the top. Uh-oh. Kirby's going to take it. Kirby's going to take it. Oh! Sorry, Kirby. All right. Sorry, way too much fun. So let's slam down our cans, and let's give it a shake. And John, this one's only going to need about that much time. We don't need to dilute it too much because we're still going to dilute it with our sparkling. All right, and let's make sure we double strain because we have all that pulp in there from pulverizing those lemons. Holy moly. Should have cut that one halfway through. We'll add that to mine because that ratio is going to be a little bit more than we want it to be. Okay. Better. John, the champagne flutes that I didn't test ended up going up so high that I wanted to make sure that I poured a little bit out into my bigger one for later for me. Because I wanted to make sure there was at least, like we said, minimum of 3 ounces of that sparkling going in. All right, so everybody got it. Might be a better look. I realize I might have been out of frame for that, but here. And we started off, by the time I got done with the pour, this was a smaller glass than I expected. We were close to there. Now we're going to do the top all the way, and we want to go real slow because we have a reaction with citric acid in that lemon juice, as well as the honey giving a structure to those bubbles. So we're going to go nice and slow to the top. Otherwise, if you just pour it straight in, it's going to pour everywhere. Everybody has seen me at a busy bar do that at least once a night. Then I immediately regret my life choices. Okay, almost there. Oop, it's going over, baby. Just barely.
Now, if you don't have a flute, and I know those are, you know, so traditional on New Year's Eve, but
yeah,
I don't have flutes.
It's okay.
Coupe is fine. Yeah.
Coupe's actually classic, believe it or not. So the coupe's perfect.
Yeah, the flute was invented later to kind of sell the image of the sparkling. It doesn't actually help the flavor or the aroma, does it?
No, actually, I don't prefer it.
Coupe, you can really get your nose in.
Yeah, they say that it is that it actually impairs your enjoyment of it, but it's stuck for so long as being a classic refinement thing that, yeah, that's how we get stuck with a lot of certain things. But yeah, I'm doing a Collins glass. You don't have to do a chimney. They do look cool. I wanted to show everybody one quick thing, and you know what? I might not get a chance on this one, but I'll show you on the next one. And that is the fail-safe if everything starts bubbling up too fast. The only thing that you can really do in a clean way is to spray some lemon oil to stop it. Now, this is kind of the idea if anybody went to a high school like mine when you were younger and somebody put nose butter in the top of your beer to stop those foams coming out of the keg. It's kind of the same thing in the grossest way. You're talking about using the same oils, but you're using them from a nice clean lemon as opposed to the oils from your own, the sides of your nose. So, John, let's get some peels in there. We definitely want lemon. We want some... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Same
peel as the last drink?
Same peel as the last drink. This one's just going to be minus the apple. So I'm going to go channel peeler. And I'm spraying the top. I wish everybody could see that with the lighting. I'm sure you can't. But spraying the top of this cocktail with that lemon oil. And then we're going to get a nice twist. And again, we want to tuck the ends in when we do this twist because it's going to shock them into place as soon as you drop them into this cold glass, this cold drink. And here. Some people prefer having them on the edge. I don't mind just letting them drop right in. We've compacted them enough that they're nice and pretty. You can stretch them out. Feel free to try new things. We're here to empower you. You are worthy of making a drink however you want it. Remember, too, the way John's getting his technique in, he might get a little bit more lemon oil than I do because he's doing a wide peel and expressions. Then he does a trim down and a straw. Either way is going to work. In fact, I'll show you that technique on this next one. Then that way we can really show you how that oil spray helps dissipate the foam on the top of your cocktail. In the meantime, I'm going to put this one up for Kirby and Yoshi to fight over. And I'm going to start on that second one here. Just so we can keep showing everybody that other peel. John is showing you your the straw almost. Yeah, as soon as it turns around again though. And then I'm going to drop, get this other one going. 2, 3 squeeze and drop lemon wedges. Gotta get some more honey syrup in there.
The bar is falling behind. You need a bar back.
I can't wait for that day, sir. So we can both be behind a bar together, broadcasting to all of our friends out there. That'd be amazing. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna throw these two together because I know how much I need to pour to that. And then I can double up here. Thanks for hooking up the music again tonight, John. And as mellow and chill and fantastic as always.
Hell Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm knocking out these 2 more. Did you get a chance to taste that one, John, or did you hand it right off?
Oh, I got one right here. May
nice. Please have a sip while I'm doing that, and I got that one spinning.
All right. Yeah, you got the classic flute style. I got the Gatsby style. Yeah, I think the bitters were a good call. That certainly bolsters the drink.
Just gives it a nice, another layer of flavor, right?
Yeah, but it's subtle.
Good.
Wow.
Good. It's a speedy delivery, right to your cerebellum.
Directly to my liver.
Well, you at least gave it a break with some sparkling apple cider just a little while ago, right?
Yeah, totally. Still got some of that left, actually.
Look, and I got enough coffee to keep me up till well beyond midnight. All right, so I got that seal. Remember, if you're doing 2 metal cans together, you want that seal. Just give it a nice smack right on the side. That's why I use 2 metal cans, so I don't smash the glass. Been there, done that too many times. All right, so again, I'm going to double strain in since I know the ratio proportion that I want it to be. I'm going to stop and save the rest for me. And you probably can't even see my big glass in the screen, can you, John? Tapping out all the rest of the tasty, tasty juice. That looks about right. It's for a guest, for myself. So, before we get started, I want to show everybody the same kind of peel that John was doing, but basically because I want to show you how to dissipate that oil, or the bubbles like we were talking about. So I'm going to get myself a nice, long, crazy peel. This is a fun one, John. I totally forgot about it. The only way to save your product, especially if you're at a busy bar and you forget about this. So I'm going to pour it in a little bit more aggressive than I did last time. And you're going to see as it's coming up to the top, I want to stop it. I'm going to bring that right here. And as I express those oils, it actually fires them right back down. It kind of squeezes all the life out of them. The oil's heavier than the alcohol and the water that's in there. So look at that. It's dropping it right down to where I need it and allowing me that chance. Again, it can still bubble up again too quick if I go too aggressive, because I can rinse all that oil down, but it gives me a little bit more life. And if it starts going over again, oh, look at that. It's doing the work for me now. All right, so we got our last little bit of oil on there. And like John said, he made a parallelogram. Everybody can see. Sorry, just like this. And then we're going to do a full twist, almost as if you were making a paper straw. Giving it a stretch and dropping it right in. All right, sir. What do you think of that?
We all ready?
I think so. Everybody ready? Ladies, here are your cocktails with 2 different peel garnishes. Let's see, tarts need something. Okay, I read something once about how drinks with carbonation absorb faster into your bloodstream. I could say that makes sense. What do you say about the coffee? I think that could be true. I suppose there's something about how there could be an evaporation or something soaking into your as you're actually consuming it into your blood-brain barrier a little bit faster, perhaps. The only thing that comes to mind about that tarts in my mind is that Well, obviously in my mind. The only thing that comes to mind is something that I learned years ago about carbonated beverages in general, and your body trying to slightly reject them because it feels as if that carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide that's added to it isn't supposed to necessarily be in our body, and our bodies aren't supposed to absorb it. So quite as I learned in a nutrition class many years ago, which it could be debunked by now, um, that carbonated beverage doesn't allow you to absorb all the nutrients from your food. So I'd be curious if it changes how much alcohol is absorbed as well. But I don't know if that's to the positive or to the negative. Never really. I'm definitely not my expertise level. And I don't drink enough carbonated cocktails as well. I drink so many more uncarbonated so I drink like I love highballs, but that's about it. And they're a dilution rate of 3-1, so it's never too overpowering. Uh-oh. I missed why Margarita Nose had a overwhelming puke emoji. Oh my god, I love it. It was about the nose butter. Well done, Margarita Nose. Yeah. If anybody remembers, I don't know, tailgating, you'll probably remember that. Oh, gross. All right. Now it's my turn. I've been waiting for this vivacity. Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers, ladies. Classic, delicious. I really like the extra layer of flavor that you get with the honey. No, because we used the botanical bitters, so you guys didn't get the lavender black pepper. John was using the lavender black pepper to kind of add some botanicals to his beef eater. Beef eater is a little bit classic, probably one of the oldest classic London dry styles. It is no nonsense. There's a little bit of citrus, heavy amount of juniper, and it is dry and delicious. And I now have much more appreciation and better ways to utilize its flavor in drinks that I want to be drier. But yours didn't need to be, because I made them a little juicier with that really heavily botanical native gin. Who? Shout out to Aunt Judy. Glad you're here. We got people coming from all over the country as usual, John. Cheers, Lemony. Google says I'm right about the not absorbing the booze part, the not absorbing things. Oh my gosh, leave it to the Oracle. I'm so glad everybody's making it. John, we didn't see any of our friends from the Netherlands or from Europe, but they're probably toast by this time of night. Didn't they already ring in their new year?
Yeah, they are in the future.
Mm-hmm. How's 2021 feel out there, y'all?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
America's quite there yet.
Oh, Tamaya, I'm sorry about that. Say that again, John. I missed it.
Oh, yeah. So no one in America is in the future. Well, 3 hours in the future, but no one's in the new year. No one's in 2021. Just saying, we don't know how the future is yet, because our Copenhagen brethren have not joined us.
Right. We don't. Maybe they'll pop in and be like, you'll never imagine what's happening in 2021. It's so different. And hey, I couldn't agree more. Bow ties, yeah, fantastic. And we love that you're loving Thirsty Therapy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody that's out there, it's awesome that you're pre-gaming with us. Thank you for encouraging John and I to even do a stream tonight, because we weren't going to. It's fun to have that push and encouragement, and to know that he and I love doing it just with ourselves and with Bree, and when Emily's there with Emily. But hey, knowing that you want to see even more, it means a lot. Yep, Loriander is in 2021. Well done, I'm an Alex.
Loriander's gonna replay this stream
Right?
in 48 hours after a massive hangover.
Right.
And be like, yeah, they're talking about me. Cool.
I knew they'd miss me.
I am in the future.
Right? Reality hit.
That's my surfer dude accent. I don't know why that's Loriander. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I thought it was your Keanu Reeves. I was loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Next, I thought you were going to tell me you knew Kung Fu, and we were going to fucking go at it. No, I'm just...
I know cocktails.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Well, we got our bubbly
quick note about the French 75.
Yeah.
Because I'm enjoying the, thank you for adding the botanicals with those bitters. This is a wonderfully subtle drink. Subtle in my opinion. I mean, I like strong drinks. I just think it's funny, the origin story that the combination, so I'm just reading from Wikipedia, the combination was said to have such a kick that it felt like being shelled with the powerful French 75 millimeter field gun. Hence the name French 75.
Wow. And to think, well, I wonder if that's, now what year did it say that it was invented?
1915 that this drink was invented, and whoa, feels like I'm being shelled by 1915 World War I era weaponry. Have drinks gotten
Weaker?
Stronger or weaker as the century has passed?
The one reason that I actually asked about when it was created was similar to our discussion on absinthe was that a couple of shows ago? And it's my only guess is this, because I don't think that they've gotten necessarily weaker. I think cocktails have become more balanced. There is a more standard level of measurement that's happening right now. But like we talked about, back to the absinthe, like we talked about absinthe from that era, and why it was thought that wormwood was poisonous, or wormwood was causing people to hallucinate, when really it was the poor quality, high alcohol gins or vodkas, the bathtub gins that were being created and made back then at that time. So if you were drinking 180 proof alcohol, I mean, John, if we were just drinking 151 by itself, it get wrecked pretty fast. If I were to start drinking Everclear, you're actually slightly melting your brain, and that's what they found out, that all the writers that were drinking 180 proof alcohol back then, and also it had terrible things in it. Nothing was refined. It was using bad quality water and everything. So, I mean, granted, they probably weren't getting dysentery because there was so much alcohol that it was clearing everything out. The idea that they were probably drinking 1.5 ounces or even 2 ounces of that kind of gin back then probably was a lot stronger.
So the 1915 quality of gin.
I wonder about champagne too. I wonder about, because
quality of sparkling. Okay.
Well, and the alcohol content, because again, back then they had to make things higher alcohol content. We didn't have refrigeration at the same rate that we do now.
Right.
Shipping didn't happen overnight, or happen within days. India Pale Ale was created for that very reason, because they were trying to fortify beer with more alcohol and more flavors so that it would make its way across the expanses of ocean and through the spice trade to India. As far as British colonists go, that's how they created things like that. So everything had a lot more alcohol back then. So I wouldn't be shocked if the champagne did as well. And maybe there was no actual way of testing it back then either. So they could have, who knows what your alcohol content could have been on your champagne, and nobody was. What if it was higher than the booze itself? That'd be crazy.
Oh wow! I hadn't thought of that. This is kind of like how old fashions today, a very popular cocktail, like kind of having a renaissance in the last several decades.
For sure.
People like someone who's trying to recreate that feeling from when it was invented 150 years ago, 200 years ago, somewhere in there. They're going to use, if you want to be really authentic, rye, because it's going to be rougher, closer to what the bourbon they had back then. Bourbon today is much smoother because our techniques are so much better, right?
Right. And moonshine, more moonshine style. So it would be harsher. I mean, literally, depending on whatever anybody could get their hands on. Especially Jerry Thomas out in California, trying to create the kind of father of modern gregarious bartending in the in the early times. A fantastic sounding character. But his measurements from some of his cocktail books are talking about a wine glass full of things. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean a wine glass like this? Like I like using instead of a Nick and Nora? This is
measured in a wine glass,
right?
Wow.
This would be what I would expect, because this was about the size of wine glasses back then, or a little bit smaller, closer to absinthe glasses. But look at the wine glasses we have today that technically hold 18 ounces. We never fill up that high, but let's be honest, right? But they were talking about using a whole wine glass. So who knows where they were. And if they were going to do the old fashioned, like we said, or a cocktail in itself, John brought up a great point. The old fashioned is the original cocktail, and a cocktail in itself is bitters, sugar, spirit, and ice, which is why our old fashioned is our old fashioned. But if you were going to do it, not sure, well, you wouldn't be able to get your hands on the bitters that existed back then, in Jerry Thomas's time. We can get things close, and they've been trying to do molecular analyzation on some old bottles to try and recreate abbots and different things like that. But you'd have that. You'd be using raw sugar, ice that probably had its own fun flavor to it, because there weren't a lot of ways to keep ice. They weren't refrigerators or freezers. They used like ice cabinets to try and keep stuff going with a big block of ice. And then John's right, really harsh rye whiskey, and then you'd probably be using a block of Demerara kind of sugar. Nothing refined like it is nowadays. Oh my God, LaCroix hibiscus. What did I just miss? Ooh, a smoked orange hazelnut old fashioned. I'm all about that. Oh my God, classic Navy cocktails with pirate hats. I could try that. I'm not going to commit to anything tonight, anybody. That's for sure. I've been pre-gaming pretty well. But,
yeah, we should be considerate for the future,
right? But that'd be that could be fun. We could do our Navy strength. We could do our Navy strength Plymouth. Oh, there's a second name for the Call of Grog.
I mean, I'm all for making Navy drinks, grog, tiki drinks. That's in that realm. I'm all for that. But we got to be careful that now they're dictating how we dress up.
Right? My goodness. I just thought somebody wanted me to wear an iPad.
We take off the apron one time. I just got the apron.
Right? John's working on his new pen. Nobody stop him from his strides.
That's right. I haven't even unlocked the pockets in it yet.
Right?
I have to start over now.
Oh, tarts. Let's do that. I can't wait to knock out to mess around with a friend's rum collection. You have to hit us up on DM, email me through the website. Let's talk about that, because I got to know what flavors we're working with. John and I will both chime in on helping out with that, because he actually helped me expand my Hogo palate to get into the richer, funkier rums. In fact, Tiki night it is. We're doing a full-on Hawaiian shirts, I think, John, if we are doing a full Tiki night.
Oh, I may not have a pirate hat, but I've got my Tiki gear. For sure.
Perfect. In the most respectful way as we can with tiki drinks and things like that. We like the idea of appreciating the idea of tiki drinks and the tiki drink culture much more than trying to think that it is any sort of accurate depiction of Polynesian lifestyle or anything that is truly Polynesian. In fact, one of my favorite things is most bars are getting away from using real Polynesian idols and gods in their drinkware and starting to go with things like Eam, where they have a cute little elephant in a ceramic tiki style glass.
Oh my gosh, Eam is so cool. So what? It's a food-wise Thai restaurant, but the tiki style cocktails are totally original.
Barbecue Thai restaurant.
Yes, Thai barbecue. Yes.
Right, smoked barbecue and then Thai food brought together. Texas style barbecue and Thai food brought together in the coolest, weirdest way. And John's right. The tiki drinks are awesome. In fact, if anybody's there right now, anybody's in the area right now, they're doing Pappy Van Winkle Jello shots for $6 tonight.
Why wasn't I told? I'm gonna follow them on the gram right now.
Right, just like Eric, the lead bartender and owner, co-owner. I am with him on the. He is a sober, 100% sober bar manager and bartender, and he said, I got this really fancy Jello and this really cheap bourbon to put together, and I'm hoping it doesn't taste too gross. So. I think anybody that's willing to throw a bottle of Pappy, which isn't necessarily so expensive, but really just limited is what you can get your hands on. Yeah, they're not losing money off of it, but at the same time, most people are going to hold it. Even when I had it at a Furi, we were supposed to set it at such a high price point because it was such a well-known product. I think we had the 12-year for like $30 a shot, $30 for 2 ounces. You can get it mixed with Jello for $6. Why mess around?
Wow, $30 for 2 ounces, or with Jello for $6.
Right. I'd take it. If we lived closer, I'd have definitely partaken in one.
That is one of my closest cool restaurants. Can't make it out there right now.
You also have a place...
I've had too much fun tonight.
Right? You and me both. You also have a place called Akati that's by you that is, they're having their last week now, and they're hoping to come back into a new location, but they are amazing African food that we have been lucky enough to discover. Yeah. I grew up eating like copious amounts of okra, thanks to my grandmother and her cooking, and they have a very spicy habanero spinach okra like soup that I can't get enough of. Yeah, thank you. File tiki under thank you, Targ Tarts, as far as filing tiki under the way things never were. It is still yummy. I really appreciate the technique. I've never got to work in a tiki bar. One of the few styles that I haven't got to actually immerse myself in, as far as being a bartender, just a production bartender in. But I love that people are starting to be just a little bit more conscious and respectful of the cultures that inspire them, but rather not objectify or subjectify and almost turn those cultures into a comic relief as opposed to appreciation.
Let's be honest. It was invented in Hollywood in the 1930s.
Right.
We can still work with that. There were some delicious concoctions that came out of that.
Thanks. Yeah.
But let's not pretend.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not act like that had any actual cultural reference other than it made some fun drinks, and we can change it. There is nothing wrong with us discovering that we made a mistake and fixing it, making it, or just making it just a little bit better. Never, no harm in that, right? An easy thing that we can do to make it better for everybody as opposed to just a few of us. PDX does, Char, you're right. PDX does do tiki well. We have a lot of people. We have people that move here because they want to be a part of it. Rum Club is a fantastic location that I've been lucky enough to hang out at. They have really cool, caring bartenders that are patient and willing to make any kind of drink and answer any questions for people. Yeah, I've been surprised. Even as busy as they are, they'll take the time to do the right thing.
And let's not forget Hale Pele, probably one of the world's top tiki bars.
You can't forget that.
They got the you drink out of volcanoes. They got the smoke machine. They got the rain sound effects. And it's not all kitsch. The drinks legit taste really good.
You've said nothing but great things about them. In fact, you and I were supposed to go. We're supposed
we
to go
scheduled
there.
a thing like let's go in February, and then everything shut down.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then it was like, hey, can we
year?
put it? Yeah, it was. Can we put it off for 2 weeks? And then literally 2 weeks later, the entire
deadly
shutdown
mistaken.
happened. Yeah.
People at home, next time you're like, hey, can we delay 2 weeks? You never know. The world might go into lockdown.
Right. It might be a year and a half later, and now we're just praying that all these places can still make it. Because I don't know, nobody went to Hale Pele for the food necessarily. I'm sure they had great food, but that wasn't their driving factor. So it's pick up your chicken wings with your tiki drinks if you can.
No, hold on. I do like they serve they have a couple Hawaiian dishes, like a plate lunch or a dinner. Yep. Teriyaki chicken, a mac salad. I have a soft spot for that. It's not nothing gourmet, but there's something comforting about it. And you have these ornate, delicious, multi-rum tiki drinks.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. Have you heard anything? They're still doing they're still planning on coming back after the shutdown.
Yeah, so it's a pretty small operation, so they haven't been able to reopen with social distancing measures. They don't have a patio. They did a couple pop-ups at Rum Club, the other one you mentioned. They announced it on their newsletter. Go check out, I guess, either of their website to get on the email newsletter, and you can reserve a spot. When they do these pop-ups, they go quick. Now they are with the as we mentioned earlier, the legalized to-go cocktails. They're reorienting around that. So I hope they survive this, because that is a legendary bar. I mean, I dare say world famous if Portland were known for any bar.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because I mean, let's be honest, half the other bars that we knew of, bars and restaurants that we were world famous for, are not already announced that they're not coming back. So do what we can to try and support those that are attempting to make it, even if that means. And I'm glad Tarts. I'm glad you also know that they have good pork and good food there. So that's perfect. What a great reason, even if it was chicken wings and you could afford to get some with a takeout cocktail. That would really help their revenue stream at a time like now. Just to, again, no one's making any money off these, really. It's just bridging them to survive until things get back to somewhat normal. Could you hit the gas? Shut the gas off on the. Thank you. We have a new concoction going for a future date, John. So I had to make sure that I didn't overcook.
Oh my! Beverage?
It is. Well, this is a winter beet shrub that will
beets.
Yeah, I love having the earthiness and the not only, who doesn't love the bright fuchsia color that you get from beets, but I like the earthiness, the flavor. Beets were and still are used to create sugar, a different type of sugar than cane sugar, and so the ability to kind of utilize those as utilize that and its starchiness to create almost a gome, which is a gum syrup inside that shrub. It turns out really cool. So it adds a great viscosity and flavor to a cocktail. It's going to be a gin cocktail. I love beets. Thank you, Margarita Nose.
That's gonna appear on a future stream, you think?
It might. You and I will talk about it.
Okay.
We'll test the water. If anybody wants to see more of it, they can let us know. My favorite part about it is when I created it, the feedback that I've got from guests, and I've sold at least about 300 of these cocktails at various locations. The best feedback was people that could not stand beets that still loved and appreciated the flavor that was coming out. So
yeah.
You know me, John. I love just like inching people out of their comfort zones a little bit. Like, oh, you hate beets? Here, will you try this cocktail just in case? If you hate it, I'll pay for it. No big deal.
Nice. Yes. So we talked. Okay, so beets maybe on the docket. Tiki, love that people are suggesting that. Real quick, shall we talk about the plans for the next episode?
Yeah.
Just ever so briefly.
Yeah, we should, really quick.
Because this winter, winter's not over, at least not here in Portland, Oregon. We got some nogs coming up, right?
That's right. We're gonna do a quick nog style. We're gonna do a cocktail I came up with. And had a little help from a gentleman named Ryan McGarrian. I was scared to put a whole egg into this cocktail. And he encouraged me, why not? It's going to give us the flavor we need. It's going to give us the thickness that we want and the richness that we want. And it's a quick nog. And I was like, what? And that's how I learned. I mean, again, if you add enough alcohol, eggnogs are best left at more than 6 weeks. To sit even with their alcohol just to make it the safest. But some of these nogs, we're using good high quality eggs and we're using proper techniques. We're going to hope that we're staving off our chances for salmonella. And we're also using enough alcohol that we're hoping to inoculate 90% of that. Have you ever put mushrooms in a cocktail? Yes, I have put mushrooms in a cocktail because it's me and I love... Yeah. Are you kidding? Of course I put mushrooms in a cocktail. Shiitake mushrooms, in fact. I've done a shiitake mushroom infused Rittenhouse rye to make a really rich cherry-based cocktail.
You took this and you added mushrooms.
I added shiitake mushrooms specifically because I wanted that rich, umami, tangy flavor. I did dry, dehydrated ones. If we made it in the future, I might use, my suggestion would be per bottle. I think I'd like to do it again. I would do probably roughly 5 or 6 fresh shiitakes. We're probably looking at like 8 ounces or 170 grams. And then at least 2 or 3 dried shiitakes for that extra umami. This idea came from I rehydrated some shiitake mushrooms for bitters that I was making, and I rehydrated them in brandy and water. And the flavor combination, the smell, the aromatics was so amazing that I had to just, you know me, John, I cook a lot when I'm not doing any cocktails. So I go from cooking flavors to trying to integrate them in. And that rich umami everybody loves in their food really comes through in cocktails too. You just have to dial it back enough that it's not overpowering. Nobody wants to drink gravy, but having a nice subtle hint of something in the background. Yeah, that's right. We might do a bartender's choice. I think we definitely will. We also had John. It was a lot of fun doing a challenge the bartender night. So we'll definitely have some of those coming up in 2021. And we appreciate everybody's feedback. We want you to tell us if you get stuck with some rums from a friend. Hit us up. Let's talk about some ways that we could talk about them on our stream, integrate them. John and I are working on some memberships for our services as far as those are going. As we move forward with that, we will have opportunities to connect with you directly, depending on some of our different levels of subscription. And but again, we'll leave it at that for now until John and I get everything dialed in. But then that should open up some more question and answering personal sessions too. I love it. Gravy. Gravy. John, did you have fun tonight?
What? Oh, absolutely. I have the steam to make it to the new year now.
Perfect.
Oh, there was one more question about umami cocktails.
Oh, I missed it.
What you know about that?
Oh, we can do umami cocktails that episode. In fact, that's funny. Let's see. Do you want to hand me one of those bottles right there, Bree? I have a new bitters that I just finished, John. That one right there, the blue one with the label on it.
Of course you do.
And it is cherry cedar umami. So if anybody wants to hit me up directly on that, you can DM me, you can email me. It is, there we go. Is that better? It's going to spin around though, so I can't really go too far out.
Get my reaction shot.
So get John's reaction shot. He wants to get him up there, get him big.
We'll get the... Yeah. Oh, mommy! Whoa! Look at those noble bitters! Wow.
So we got it's gonna start off with a great spice of cedar, and then you have a really rich. We used all sour cherries from here in Oregon. It's my favorite thing, utilizing all the bounty that we have that is given to us up here. And so it's sour cherries from here in Oregon, and some other things to make a nice savory take, along with the spice from the cedar, and it is umami. It's funny. I kept going back and forth on do we call it salted cherry cedar, or do we call it cedar cherry umami? Because they both kind of fit it, but it really is bringing things forth that actually have umami, that sixth taste, sensation, richness, savoriness that's added into it. This actually has all the things to create a traditional umami in it, which is why I'm confident in saying something like that. Working with Japanese food and having a love and affinity for Japanese food, and living in Japan for a very short time has really pushed me to do things correctly and traditionally when we do that. So it is, if it says it's umami, it has all the same things that are added into a lot of Japanese food, or most of the same things that are added into Japanese food that help create that umami. There are no bonito flakes in this. Outside of that, it's got a lot of umami in it. Oh, you just noticed Woolly Yoshi? It's perfect. Our little stringy friend here. Well, yeah, and that's...
we clipped that. I love that screensaver of Woolly Yoshi just going round and round.
Right. You could look at a lot worse things over and over again. Well, John, do you have anything you want to say? You want to send anybody off on for the new year, since we're not going to see him for another couple weeks?
Gosh, yeah. We'll get the next episode scheduled.
Do we forget something?
To New Year's on the. Less than 30 minutes to New Year's on the East Coast, so yeah, we gotta go get ready to celebrate.
Yeah, I forgot about the Tom and Jerry. You're right. We were going to talk about that too, weren't we? For our other drink for next week.
Oh yeah, okay. It's a Nog adjacent drink that's coming up.
John and I will work on getting a butter recipe out to everybody, so you can make your Tom and Jerry like standard mix ahead of time. We will post it on our website and on the Twitch stream. John, is that, or the website, the best place to go?
Yeah, the website.
Okay.
We'll put it on both.
We'll put it up there, then that way
Tom and Jerry.
Sorry, go ahead.
For people that don't know, Tom and Jerry is what kind of drink?
Tom and Jerry is a hot butter rum style drink, essentially. So where you make a base, add a liqueur, or a liquor of some sort, and then a little bit of hot water to break up that butter mixture. Add a little bit of effervescence, a dilution rate as well, because you're not utilizing any syrups. It is a very concentrated flavor, so you definitely need a little bit of hot water in there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Winter is not over. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, bye, Alex. Take care. And yeah, John, you're right. And in fact, I do have to say, I heard good news that somebody might have bought a couple Pock Pock locations, and they might try and recreate what Andy Ricker was doing here. At least the original location. So just a heads up out there. I know there's. Oh, there's a website. Yes, there is a website. We are at thirstytherapy.com. In fact, John has been curating that for us and doing an amazing job.
Yep, linked from the Instagram, linked on our about page.
Thank you, sir.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, help us out. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us here. You can follow us on YouTube as well. We're getting all of our viewership up, and we're loving all the options that it's giving our viewers, more than it's even giving John and I. Some of these subscription services that we're able to give and the way we're able to reach out with you is a really cool thing that we didn't even know existed for us out there. So to be able to connect directly with some of you out there, even more so outside of our streams, would be fantastic. All right, John.
Anything, Billy, you'd like to send us all off into the new year with?
I think I want to thank everybody for being as supportive as you have been leading up till now. John and I have been trying our best to bring some cool stuff to you and loving your support and your feedback. We've been having a good time being with one another, and that's how we started this and more what we want to do more than anything. And we just love that you are happy sharing our time with us. And hang in there. Nothing's ever going to be how we expected it, but we're going to make it through with some sort of a semblance, or some sort of semblance. And yeah, if nothing else, we got to keep tuning into each other and keep those connections going. It's the only thing that's going to give us hope and the mindfulness that we need to keep moving forward. And whether it's just living or it's creating some of those mistakes that we talked about earlier, or correcting some of those mistakes that we talked about earlier. Yeah, we're going to get there. Things can only get better, and we're making progress. So we love you all. You're amazing for being here and supporting us, and we want to do the same for you. So everybody out there that's working as hard as we are to try and bring good quality things to people, thank you. And keep it up. There's nothing better than the value of the things that you're willing to produce for other people. That's it.
Yes. Thank you all. Be well.
Be well. Cheers. Have a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
You guys want to say Happy New Year? Happy New Year! All right, lead us out, Bree. Bye!